Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're watching live, welcome, welcome. If you're watching on the replay on YouTube, welcome. And please do subscribe so you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their readings, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so today, my dear friend, Hope Fitzgerald is back with us, and we're going to be talking about the 7 elemental foundations of life speak, invoking the infinity wave to become one with all. And so, some of what we're going to discuss today is what does unity consciousness mean? What do the natural elements have to do with it? How do we become part of a unified whole? Why is it important to do so? And how does the infinity wave factor in? So all that and more. Hope we'll be taking some live caller questions, and we'll be doing some mini dowsing readings. We have so much fun with that. And if time permits, she will do a live process as well to help us experience the infinity wave. So we will see how that goes. Okay. So for those of you who may not know Hope, like I said, she's been with us a few times now over the years. And since 2010, Hope has been passionately sharing the Infinity Wave, a 10th dimensional tool revealed to her in a series of visions to accelerate personal and global spiritual evolution, leading to more joy and freedom, even during tumultuous times. And her recent best selling book, The Infinity Wave Mastering the Art of Love, Compassion, and Flow, describes the wave's astounding arrival and the ensuing lessons it brought. And she's conducted workshops on this powerful energy, appeared on various platforms, and thanks to the wave's influence, has developed into a channel for a wide range of etheric masters. So, everyone, please join me in welcoming back Hope to the show. Hope, welcome.
Thank you so much, Shefali. It's really great to be here again.
We're
We always
gonna have
have
fun like
fun.
we always do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're gonna have fun. I'm excited about our conversation like always. And yes, we are going to be taking some live caller questions or doing some live mini readings, dowsing readings in a little bit. So if you would like to experience that with Hope, and she's fantastic, she's amazing, she's like so talented at it. I go to her when I have a question, so trust me, she's amazing. You can raise your hand. You do need to speak to Hope. It just makes it more efficient. Okay. So, but before we get into that, Hope, let's talk about the first of all the 7 elemental foundations of life speak. I know it's a new course and that you're teaching, that you've developed. So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into unity consciousness and more.
Sure. Fantastic. Well, a couple of years ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, I was invited to be on one of these week-long presentations. Like there's one in the beginning of every year, which is the 7 days of rest. And then there's one for Unity Earth, which is 7 days coming up, actually. And I can't remember which one it was that had I think it was 7 days of rest, and it had a daily theme of the elements. And I was invited to come on, and you can just go on to do one thing, or you can go on and do something every day. And I was really inspired to try to do something every day. Well, we know fire, air, earth, and water, right? We know the 4 elements. But then that left 3 days. And so I was thinking, well, what's going to happen next? So this is back actually early days when I wasn't completely out of the closet in terms of channeling. I channeled in my Monday night meditations, but to go into a new audience with a completely different agenda uh, was a bit walking on the high wire for me. So I invited one of my guides, Merlin, to be the master of ceremonies. In fact, Merlin stepped forward and said that he would be the master of ceremonies. So in the original recordings of these, I have messages from Merlin. But so that's how I was able to get through this 7 days of channeling. And he was amazing. He just held my hand through the whole thing and brought in what I'll tell you about. So we started with Earth, and this is not my order. This was Merlin's order. Earth, water, fire, and air. And then after that came, oh no, this was designated by the program, then was climate, biodiversity, and the web of life. So I didn't know what the heck would be coming in for climate or biodiversity or the web of life. And even so, with those things understood, um, I didn't know how air would present itself or fire would present itself or any of these things. Well, I can just tell you that I was so moved by each and every visitation and message. It blew me away. I have to say one thing, that when fire came in, there were active fires happening on the West Coast, bad ones. And so, our immediate response to fire, and I never would have really thought of it more deeply had it not been for fire's transmission. Our immediate response to fire usually is danger, right? We're warned from the time we're very little, don't touch the fire, don't put your finger in the fire. And so we have a deep association with it causing us pain and destruction. So when fire came through, I'll just give this one example. When fire came through, oh, it was so moving. I was brought to tears because fire said, and it wasn't like fire was feeling sorry for itself. It's not like that. They're not like that, these elements. But fire kind of recognized that with the other elements that also have destructive capabilities, they're all forgiven. We forgive the air after a tornado. We forgive the water after a flood. We forgive the earth after an earthquake. We rebuild, we whatever, but we're still living on the earth. We still like to be near water and we're still breathing the air. But fire is somehow left out in the cold, so to speak. And it brought through such empathy and compassion for this element that it reminded us, without there's no ego or anything like that attached to these energies, but it reminded us how it is the core, the reason that we all exist. We have the sun, we have fire to help us with every single thing on the planet. It's the spark of life in a way. And that's just one example of the depth of these transmissions. I don't want to give away what's in climate, biodiversity, and the web of life, because they were complete surprises. And there were 3 speakers in each of them. And I never would have expected them. I will say that one was fungi and one was eagle. One was the jungle. So that's all I'm going to give you on those, because I want you to have this potential for discovery as well. Okay, what does this have to do with unity consciousness? What does this have to do with our evolution? I am just as at fault in a way as anybody else, in that we get so busy and we are so constantly now online and connected, and some of that is beautiful and some of that sort of contributes to us forgetting what we come from. And so it requires reminding. These meditations, these transmissions are here to help us remember on a regular basis what we come from and what we are. These elements are conscious. They travel and exude love. Air talks about being the most intimate of all of the elements, in that it's breathing and literally breathing love into us with every breath. We don't really think about air as a consciousness that is loving. We're just breathing, you know? And so when we start to have a deepening relationship with all of these elements, it helps us in our reminding that we're part of something much bigger. And it takes us out of this tiny little bubble that we get in when we're working. Believe me, I'm speaking to myself here, and expand into a larger consciousness that is surrounding us all at all times. Unity consciousness, in my opinion, starts first within ourselves. We cannot really expect ourselves to have a unity consciousness with anyone or anything else if we are not first having pulled all our parts together, being in some kind of harmony with all these parts, and just being comfortable with oneself, being peaceful with oneself. That usually requires full acceptance of oneself, bringing in a sense of true compassion and love, which is where the infinity wave comes in, because it is a delivery system for infinite love and compassion. So even if we have a hard time forgiving ourselves for X, Y, or Z, we can invite the wave to come in to start to shift that so that we can accept the pieces of ourselves that are not perfect, right? That are still learning, that are still growing. So unity consciousness first within oneself, inviting the wave in to help to smooth out any of the rough edges so that we are in full acceptance of who we are, warts and all. And in full acceptance of the beauty of who we are, not just the parts that still need to grow, but the pieces that are already shining brightly. That's what I mean by pulling all these things together into one unified whole. So then once we've come to that place of individual unity, then we can start to have unity consciousness with our environment. To me, that's the next step. And it's kind of, for me, 50-50. Do I start with other people or do I start with my environment? For me, it's the environment, because the environment is fundamental to who I am and what I am. And I think that's true for all of us. So now I start to do that next layer, and I use the infinity wave to communicate with the elements. Every first Monday of the month, when I do my infinity circle online, I open the 4 directions. So the 4 directions also represent the 4 elements, the 4 basic elements. And I often tell people, when we're opening the directions, we want to, even if we're sitting down and our eyes are closed, but in our mind's eye or physically facing that direction, widening ourselves, opening ourselves completely to that direction and the appropriate element that goes with that direction. And almost like opening up our pores and breathing in what that element has to offer. And if you want to add an extra piece, which I like to do, is you wave with that direction from your heart. You wave it right into your being. It's a completely different experience. It's not cerebral anymore. It becomes physical. It becomes soulful. And we're inviting that element to dance with us. We're inviting that direction and all its symbolism to dance with us, to be a part of us, and we a part of it. And it's acknowledging that we already are a part of it. So we go around the 4 directions, opening, waving into the heart center and into our whole beings. And then you take it above and below as well. So then you take the wave, if you get to go out into nature on a daily walk, for instance, and you wave with a tree, you wave with a rock, you wave with the river, you wave with the sun. Very good to wave with the sun every day, by the way, and especially in the morning. And you wave with these different elements that seem separate, but they're not. And, you know, I've had more than one transmission come through in the Monday meditations of glimpsing the world that we're moving into. And in each case, it's a world where we are conscious of our communication with all living things. So we can non-verbally, but consciously communicate with any tree, any rock, any toad, any bird, and it's all of a piece, but we're conscious. And the idea of that is so stunning and so exciting. But I think we can begin that process through waving with our environment and be astounded by what we start to see, what starts to show up. Oh, she's talking to us. Let's see how we can talk back or give her some kind of symbol back, or maybe, you know, maybe have an unusual sighting of some animal. It's really cool. So then the next level would be communicating with our fellow humans. And again, there's a scale of that. You're going to start with those who are, you know, closest to you, let's say, and you wave with them. And as you work your way through the different levels of people who are closest and then, you know, further and further out, we begin, it's so amazing. The wave has taken away the rough edges within ourselves and the rough edges of judgment within ourselves. And so as we start to allow that out in the world, because we don't judge nature, but when we get to the humans, that starts to creep in, and it's so subtle and it's so woven in. And so when we notice it, we can pull that thread out, pull that judgment thread out, or let the wave take care of it. Because that's the biggest thing that is impeding a general unity consciousness is the judgment that's something separate from me. And when we get to that, when we're in that separation mentality, we're in duality, which is the 3D setup. And it's hard, we don't get very far when we're in that dualistic mindset. So when we introduce the wave, it allows us, in its 10th dimensional powerhouse that it is, it allows us to pop up out of that dualism, out of that judgment, into a much wider playing field where suddenly we're not separate. We're all in this together. We may not all agree, but we can all maintain some kind of stasis as connected. And so that's kind of, I think, I don't know, did I cover the the bullet points there, Shefali?
Yeah, I definitely think you did. We talked about unity consciousness, what that means, what does the natural elements have to do with it, how do we become a part of the unified whole, and why is it important to do so? And I love talking about both the environment, and then when you're comfortable with that, then starting to move to the humans, because with the environment there's no judgment, right? And then with humans, there's, unfortunately, there still is a lot of judgment there.
Yes, yes, there is. And it's a tough one to overcome. Oh, somebody's audio's on there. It's a tough one. It takes a lot of ascertaining, a lot of vigilance in a way, without being too crazy about it, but a vigilance to catch the judgments in our thoughts. Even if we don't speak it, if it's in our thoughts, it's still present in our fields, and we're not going to have as much success in our growth, in our evolution. I think, if I could be really bold about it, we've been herded into more and more separation mentality over the years. It's been going on for decades, but it's gotten it's gotten so intense that if you stood back and look at it, you see you see the push on either side. Okay, we're just going to make people not be able to stand each other. You know, it's kind of diabolical. So we don't want to be caught in that matrix, you know. So the only way out of that is up. We're not going to solve it this way. We gotta pop up and out, and that's taking some real muscle sometimes to catch ourselves and to choose a different path. This is where I'm telling you, the infinity wave is so helpful, because sometimes we don't know how to pop up and get out of that dualism. We just don't have the wherewithal and or the roadmap. So when we invoke the wave and say, just invite the wave, say, look, I'd like to get out of dualism right now. I'd like to get out of this separation mentality right now. And just put that wave in your heart, put it between your head and your heart, wrap it around your whole body, whatever it is. Turn the water up so it's rushing, because sometimes it takes a lot of power. And just let it run until you will feel yourself start to melt, literally melt. And that whatever that position was starts to soften, and you go, okay, I'm getting there. And then just keep going until that resistance, because think of it, the wave came in, and one of its main tools, main purposes, is to help us with our resistance. When we're in separation mentality, we are in resistance to something, right? So we want to get out of resistance. So we let the wave take us there. And it can shift us so quickly. And this is where, I grew up, I've been meditating since I was 17 years old. And, so I used to sit down and meditate in order to get over a hump like that. And sometimes I'd have to meditate a long time to get that. We don't have time now. We don't. We've got to have something that's fast and can shift us, on a dime. So we don't waste a moment of our day,
Absolutely.
slugging around, right?
Yes,
Slugging
of
around
course.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. And meditation is great for many things, right? But sometimes you do need something really quick, right? Because even in meditation, sometimes it takes a while for us to calm down our emotions, calm down our thoughts, that kind of thing, and get into that zone, get into that space. But the infinity wave can help you get there much quicker, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to in any way downplay meditation. It's still absolutely fantastic, and I highly encourage it. I do meditations every week for people. But yeah, in terms of daily living, and in terms of sometimes getting over a hump, a big hump, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just a short, little, easy process. And, it's a matter of using the tool, using the resource, and just sitting with it for a few minutes, and then experiencing the change or the transformation or the difference. And once you start using it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I know most of you know about the infinity wave, right? I'm pretty sure, because Hope has been on a few times and we've talked about it. So how many of you are using the infinity wave on a regular basis? I'm not going to say every day, but on a regular basis, on a consistent basis. I'm curious. And if you're not, is it because you don't know how? Let us know in the chat. Um so I'm gonna let them respond, and then we'll continue. But what else, like when it comes to the elements and those other three topics, right? When it comes to being with the elements, right? It's about communion and communication and just being with it and expanding into it. It's kind of almost like even embodying the elements in order to communicate with them, right?
Yeah, and that's where the wave is so handy, because it connects us. Now we're on the same level, right? The water is actually connecting us up up our energy fields. And I actually do a fun practice. Um, I had a friend, I was curious about this. So I asked a friend to, I gave him some rods, and I asked him to walk up to a tree that he was drawn to and ask the tree if it was okay to have a chat with it. And the rod said no. So I said, okay, let's wave the tree for 30 seconds. I said, just you wave the tree. I'm not going to wave the tree. Just you wave the tree. He waved the tree for 30 seconds, and he asked the same question again. And now it was an enthusiastic yes. So blessing the tree with love and compassion for 30 seconds is going to open the field. Not every tree wants to talk to us right away. You know, we have to think of them, and plants and rocks and all of that, as having some consciousness. And even, I used to, when I traveled all over the world, and I still am, but I would look for a rock and maybe take a few rocks home with me from wherever I was. And then it occurred to me, I'm not even asking the rock if it wants to come along. I was making that assumption, I'm dominant human on the soil or something. I was really ashamed when I started to realize what I was doing. And from that point on, I always douse to ask, and I don't pick up rocks very often anymore, but I used to have very heavy luggage. But
I used
um,
to do that too, so you're not the only one. I'm sure there are many
I'm
of us
sure I'm
who
not.
have
I'm
done
sure
that.
I'm not. But once we really start to honor all of the existing nature around us, things change. And then we do have this possibility of interaction, but we need to be polite and wait for an invitation to have
Yeah.
that connection.
Exactly, recognizing that they are an entity in their own right. And so, communicating with them, speaking with them, asking if they even want to speak to us, because they may not want to, right? So it's about respect and honoring, like you said. So I totally get that. But you're right. Like, we don't think of that because, we're just we think we know everything.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. So,
So yeah, I was just gonna say, so I asked how many people are like, if people are using the infinity wave, and who does not know about it. So there are some people who use the infinity wave regularly, right? But one person forgot to see it as flowing water, so that'll change for her now. And then some people don't know how to use the infinity wave. So even though you've been on a few times, still there are still some people who don't know how to use the infinity wave, and
what?
it's
Are you kidding? I just,
exactly.
okay. For those people, see this figure eight of flowing water? That's what it kind of looks like. There it is on my book cover. It's a little bigger, but it's a little harder to see. Um, and this thing came to me in a series of visions. I won't go back through the whole story, but just to say that it's a gift from a loving universe for the times we are in. It came in 2010, at the end of 2010. And one of the messages was that the first vision was a giant wall of water, and the message was that this wave represented a push of evolution that is coming to the planet. And that's where we are. And if we chose to swim with that wave or surf it, things would go better for us than if we resist it. So all of that is explained in the first chapter of my little book. But just understand that this is a symbol, okay? And it's a symbol of something much, much bigger. Like a cross is a symbol of something much, much bigger, or an ankh is a symbol of something much, much bigger. What this is a symbol of is 10th dimensional, or very high, pristine, level of love and compassion. A level of love and compassion that we are now ready for. We have not experienced this level before. We've been dealing with 7th and 8th levels of love and compassion, and now we're into this one. So if we are invited to imagine it, just imagine the geometry of the 8 or infinity on its side. It can turn any which way. It can be any size, but it definitely needs to be watery. The water is the important thing. People come to me and say, oh, I've been doing the infinity wave for decades. And I said, no, you haven't. You've been doing figure 8s, which is awesome and wonderful and incredibly powerful in and of itself. But you haven't been doing the infinity wave because the element of water is what takes it up to the next level. And we know, I mean, there's so much work now that's come out on the consciousness of water. It's fantastic. It's something that, of course, I dove into when this all started to happen to me, quite out of the blue. I was not used to having visions. I was not really wanting to teach anything. And boom, this all happened. And I had to say yes. But of course, I wanted to try to understand, why is it water? What is it about water? And that's when all Dr. Emoto's stuff was out. And so I went deep into that. And I started understanding the consciousness of water through him, and also through structuring water, and then having my own communications directly with water. So that brought me to an understanding of why the infinity wave includes the element of water. So you imagine this watery figure 8. You can do it inside your body. You can do it from yourself down into the center of the earth, or up into the heavens, to the stars, to the sun, as I mentioned, and to one another, to another person. When you wave with another human being from the heart to the heart, it is an extraordinary experience. And whatever conversation you're having is pretty much guaranteed to rise in nature. So just imagine that we have this playing field of 3D here with a ceiling like this. We're kind of stuck in this bandwidth, right? But when you introduce a 10th dimensional frequency, or just forget the 10th dimensional, just a very high, pristine frequency of love and compassion, now it's going to blow the ceiling off of the 3D experience. Now we're going to have more options. Our perspective will have grown. We're going to see things. We're going to be able to hold more than one reality at a time. Whereas in duality, we're in yes or no. But now we break out, and there are more possibilities, and we can problem solve from a whole different level. This is why it's the way up and out of the dualistic us versus them mentality. So we introduce the infinity wave basically to any situation, whether it's a group, whether it's a single, communication, whether it's somebody you know or don't know. You don't have to tell people that you're using it, and I'm going to explain why. That was one of my concerns in the beginning. I don't know this person who seems to be cranky behind the desk. Am I allowed to send the wave? And the answer that I got was, there isn't a person on this planet, or an animal, or a thing that couldn't benefit from more love and compassion. So I figure if they don't need it, it'll fly right by them. But 99% of the time, they need it and they benefit from it. So, and I've told the wonderful story about the anesthesiologist on the show before, who, when she got a big dose of the wave, completely changed in a nanosecond, like 180 degrees. So it works, and it works fast. And it's a blessing. It's the most beautiful blessing you can give anybody. But the beautiful thing is when I wave from my heart to somebody else's, I get blessed too. You know, that love and compassion comes right back to me. This is helpful when you're driving in traffic and somebody cuts you off. This is helpful when somebody's in the grocery store or their kid is having a meltdown or on an airplane. People have told me so many times they've used it on screaming babies on airplanes, and they just quiet right down. So it's pretty cool. It's a quantum energy, which means that it can work across space and time, and it's immediate, and it's it can't be contained. And the other thing is, it's non-denominational. So it works with whatever your belief system is. It will boost whatever your belief system is. It'll give it a little extra, maybe complexity, but also a little extra energy. And I love that about it because it's not it's non-denominational. It's free floating and it can't be corrupted, unlike other things that
Mhm.
have come along.
Awesome. So again, it is like the infinity wave, but it's flowing water.
Yes.
So if you are all wanting to try it and use it, that's all you need to know. Don't overthink it, don't complicate it. It's just flowing infinity wave water. And then just allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to experience. Don't go in with like, oh, it has to work like this, it has to do this, it has to do that. No, just be open and be an allowance of what is. Just experience it for yourself. It's not something that Hope has to teach everyone, because this is a gift for all of us, and it's 10th dimensional, so it's not tied to our 3D reality.
Right. And as you say, there's no wrong or right way to do it. Think of it, well, it is a living consciousness. So it's a question of inviting it in to dance with you. And then it sometimes, often actually, will show you how it needs to be used, how it wants to be used in any given situation. And sometimes it changes color. And sometimes there are multiples. Sometimes it looks more like an hourglass, a 3D form. It's gonna show up the way it needs to. So don't fight it in your mind and say, "Oh, that's not right." No, no, no. It'll show
Yeah,
up.
and if you don't see, just imagine what it would be like. It's fine.
That's
It's
right.
going to do its thing once you invite it in. It's going to do its thing. So your job is just like be an allowance. If you want to see it as turquoisey, that's why I wore this color today, turquoisey water. Awesome. If you want to see it as clear water, it's going to do what it's going to do. So just be open to whatever it happens to be, and just feel. Just again, it's about being with it and
Mhm.
recognizing the gift and frequency of it, and how it's going to how it is transforming your situation in the moment. That does not mean, immediate results with a snap of a finger, but just be with it and see what happens.
All good.
Experiment, right? We are all scientists here, right? So just
Exactly.
experiment with it.
And it's simple. I
Awesome.
mean, that's what I love about it. It's so simple.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want. We want simple, we want easy, we want more ease in our lives, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So, thank you for that explanation, Hope. Because, I didn't realize people still didn't know, but it's okay, because it's like, it's such a simple explanation. So don't overcomplicate it, everyone. Okay. All right. That was fun. So I know everyone's waiting for your lovely dowsing experience and wanting to ask questions. So of course there's guidelines, there's rules to the how you ask or what you ask, that kind of thing, and we're going to keep it short and sweet, because I have an issue going on in the other room here, and so it's like we're not gonna take a million callers. We can't, because again, like I said, I have not a flood, but there's a leak happening in the next room, so that we have to get taken care of. So Hope, what are the rules for this?
Basically, it's easiest.
Guidelines.
Yeah, it's easiest to do quick dowsing when there are yes or no questions. Um, of course, I always pick up other things and I will say the things that I pick up, but don't please don't say, what is my purpose in life? Because that's a session.
Yeah.
But, simple things, yes or no, that would be the best. And that's really, and I don't futurize. What I can, in other words, don't ask me what the lotto numbers are, but what I can do is ask what's in your highest good to new steps to take. Is it in your highest good to move to New York City? Yes or no? And that sort of thing. Yeah. So
Awesome. And I'm always like so interested to see what types of questions people have because it's just so much fun. Anushka, you want to unmute? And of course, we can only take live caller questions because Hope has to ask you questions, right? So that's why we can't do it via the chat, really. So Anushka, you want to unmute?
Yes, hello. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
hi. Yep,
Yeah.
we can.
Um, um, yes, it's about my job, if I will stay on the school that I am right now. And it's also about taking a leave, if I will be granted the leave, and it's named LVVP in Belgium. And I don't know how to translate it.
So Anushka, I can ask what's in your highest good. If it's in your highest good to continue to work at that school,
Mm-hmm.
is that what you'd like to know?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't predict whether you'll
Mm-hmm.
still work there, right? I
Okay.
can ask if it's in your highest good to continue working there.
Mm-hmm.
And is the
Okay.
name of the school
Yes, the rainbow.
the Rainbow School?
Mhm.
All right. So here are my fancy new rods. And because of my backdrop, you might not be
I
able to see
see.
them
I
too
see that.
well. Okay.
Mhm.
So I always start with can I, may I, should I? Okay. And in is a yes. So is it in Anushka's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to continue working at the Rainbow School? Yes, it is.
Mm.
For the next year? Yes. For the next 2 years? Yes. Okay. And then you wanted to know if you should take a leave?
Yes, if it will be granted as LVVP is the
I
name
can't
of
I
it.
can't ask if it's going to be granted.
Okay, and if it's
I
for my
can ask
highest
if it's
good,
in your highest good to take a
right?
leave. Is it
Okay.
in Anushka's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to take a leave from the Rainbow School? Now, I'm only getting 50% on that. So this is a leave you'd like to take?
Yes, and yeah, it's funny that you get 50% because it's like a 50% leave.
Okay. So when you say 50% leave, does that mean half the time?
Yes.
Okay, so how long is the time?
So
Um,
is it going from permanent at the school to working half-time there?
yes, yes, yes. But
Yeah.
it's a specific leaf. It's LVVP. I can't explain it. It's like named. It's because of my physical condition.
So you're asking me, because a leave for us, a leave is when you actually leave work for a number of months and then you come
Yeah.
back to
So
the same job.
Yes,
so
but
this could be like a
that's like a
disability thing.
permanent. Sorry.
Say it
This is
again.
kind of like this is kind of like disability leave.
Yes, yes, and it's a permanent thing. It's yeah.
So it's a permanent step down from your number of hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So is it in Anushka's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to do the LVVP leave where she goes into halftime? Yes, it is.
Okay.
But I think there's still some things being worked out. I just want to ask, is it in her highest physical good to do that? It's not 100%. Is it in her highest mental good, emotional good, spiritual good? So it's not 100% in your highest good. Yeah, I'd need to look more carefully into that to
Mm-hmm.
find out more. but you know, 50% isn't terrible. So if it happens and it feels good to you, then awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Nishka. And
Okay.
we're going to talk about the
Thank you.
packages in a little while. And
Mhm.
package B is the dowsing, 30-minute dowsing session with Hope. So she can go deeper and ask more questions and give you more
Mhm.
clarity, okay? And I think
Okay. Thank you.
it's only $50, right? I think it's only
Yeah,
$50.
it's crazy. Yeah. I only do it for you, Shefali.
Thank you
I
very
know.
much.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Nishka. All right, Asha, you want to unmute? So now Anushka was the guinea pig, so now we all know what types of questions and how to phrase the questions that is so important. Go ahead, Asha.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shefali, and thank you, Hope. So my question is very short. Is it in my highest good to move forward with a new relationship, friendship?
Is this a friendship or a romantic relationship?
It's a friendship.
Can you give me a name? First name only?
Sure, Ira.
Ira. So is it in Asha's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to move forward with a friendship with Ira? Again, I only get 50%. Is it in her highest physical good, mental good, emotional good, spiritual good? Yeah, I'm only getting 50% across the board. So I would ask then, is there anything that could change to make it more positive? Yes. So then we'd go down the rabbit hole to try to figure out what needs to change. But what I can ask is it something that needs to change within Asha to make it go forward? So it is something within you. If that thing changes or those things change within Asha, will it then be in her highest good? Yes. So that's a very interesting situation. And sometimes it's very simple. We can identify it really quickly. I don't think we should do that here on the call. But yeah, I think with a small adjustment of something, I don't know what yet, I'm not hearing it yet, this could be a great friendship.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Hope.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Asha.
Thanks, Shefali.
All right, we're going to go to Anita. Anita, you want to unmute?
Good afternoon, Shefali and Hope. The question I have is, I seem to have a lot of internal heat, and I'm actually very photosensitive, allergic to the sun. I can't even seem to be out there early in the morning hours. And I am a wind sign. I'm Aquarius, and I was, considered a wind sign. How come I have such a I don't know. Why am I so sun sensitive? Is it too much fire in my body? I don't know if that's a question you could answer.
That is a very complex question, and it's not a yes or no question.
Okay.
I would have to I'd have to do a lot of questioning around that issue. But what I can do is this: is the heat that Anita is experiencing and her sensitivity to the sun, is that happening on purely a physical level? No, it's 50%. Is it also happening on a mental level? 50%, an emotional level, 50%, spiritual level, 50%. So see, there are a lot of avenues to go down now, because
I
we
see.
want to figure out. And I can ask this: on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the weakest, 10 being the strongest, what is Anita's relationship to fire? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a 10. But now I'm going to ask about water. On a scale of 0 to 10, same thing. What is Anita's relationship to water? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's a 5. I'm going to ask about the other two just to see. What is
Okay.
Anita's relationship to Earth? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. Okay, and what about air? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, the first thing I would do is start to investigate why the water is only at 5. Because it may
Okay.
be that what you need is to build up your relationship with water to cool down your heat. So I would go down the rabbit hole on that question with you, Anita.
Okay. I do have a fear of large bodies of water. I did have the insight that in a past life I had witnessed people drowning. So I always had, after a certain age, I guess it was in my 30s, I just stopped going swimming and whatever because I, got this fear of water.
Well,
Okay.
there you go. So
Okay.
we've identified that, and then there are
Uh-huh.
ways to work through that.
Okay. And working with that infinity sign because it's water would really open that up for me?
I should
Okay.
think so. And I'd
Okay.
like to hear how that
Wonderful.
goes, because yeah, that's a beautiful way to start introducing the cooling water of your whole system.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Many blessings be upon you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Same to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Anita. That was interesting. That was totally different type of question. It's like, didn't even know where you were going to go with that. So that was awesome, Hope. All right, Sarah, you have a question for Hope?
Yes. Someone who continues to promise to pay me but never does. Is it in my best interest to take this person to small claims court and get involved in the legal system?
May I have the first name, please?
Jahi.
Jahi?
Jahi.
Okay. May I, should I? Is it in Sarah's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to take Jahi to small claims court? Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, I was just going to threaten and see if that got any action, but have to carry through. Okay. It's the only thing
Be
that seems
prepared to carry through. Hopefully
okay.
you won't have to.
As we say in Hebrew, Mizrat Hashem, by the grace of heaven, may I not have to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck, Sarah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. All right, we're going to go to, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. It just says iPhone.
That's Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah, I
There
don't
you go.
know why it says that. I guess I didn't put my name in.
That's okay.
Okay, so is it in my highest emotional, mental, and spiritual, physical good to be to patch up a friendship with Jerry? To be friends with Jerry at all?
I have a very interesting reading. Can you see that it's not the same? Okay, let me rephrase it. So is it in Michelle's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to refresh a relationship with Jerry
Be friends, just be friends.
as friends? I only get 25%, Michelle.
Okay. Understand.
Let me ask on all the levels. Is it in her highest physical good? Actually, no, it's not in your highest physical good. Is it in her highest mental good? No. Is it in her highest emotional good? That's the 25%. Is it in her highest spiritual good? No. So now I just want everybody to note that when we douse, and a lot of people have pendulums, and a lot of people use body dowsing and all of that, and I love all of it. I don't use pendulums for these kinds of questions because the rods are very nuanced. The rods gave me 25%. And then I'm going to break it down and go into the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual so I can start to get a picture of what is and isn't working. And once I figure that out, actually, we can do it. So it's only 25% in Michelle's highest good emotionally. Is that enough to carry the ball? And now I can ask, is there anything that could be done on Michelle's part to make these numbers more positive? And I get a no. It's like there's nothing you can do to change the situation.
I can send the infinity wave over because he's a lot of fire, and I feel for him because when you said something about fire being the kind of people being scared of fire and running, his fiery personality sort of puts him in that lonerville. And so my heart, but I see, that's why I asked the question, because I never want to be a person who runs away from someone because of the element that they are.
Right. Well, it's a really, really good demonstration of how our emotions can sometimes be driving the entire bus. And we think we're going down the path. Yes, because our hearts are so open. Most of us have very powerful empathy, right? And so but then sometimes I had a client once who came to me, wanted to move to this particular place, and every other aspect except emotional was a solid no. But her emotions were so strong about it that it took over the whole pie, and it completely overshadowed everything else. And that can happen with empaths like we all are. So it's really good to go down to the next levels and keep asking the questions. So thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. All right. So Hope, I have a question as well. If I can ask, if it's my,
Yes, ma'am.
if it's in my highest good to be in a new relationship of some sort. There's nobody on the horizon.
Romantic relationship. Is it in
Yeah.
Shefalic's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to be open to having a romantic relationship at this time? And again, I'm getting a lot of 50% today. But let me ask this. Would it be in her highest good to pursue having a romantic relationship sometime in 2025? Yes. Okay, so let's find out when. When would be the most opportune time? We are in June 2025, July, August, September. So whatever's going to happen between now and then, what I'm hearing now, there are a lot of loose ends still.
Yes.
A lot of loose ends need to be tidied up. And if you think of it like tidying your house, cleaning house, it's not just physical cleaning, it's emotional cleaning too. And so if you just take the next few months to do that, you'll be ready to go in September.
Awesome. Yeah. And really, that was my question. It's like, when? But, I didn't ask when because I thought that's a futurist type of question, so I can't ask that. But you got it anyways.
But we're asking. It kind of is. It's a funny thing, but it's basically still in your what's your next steps department, right? What's in your highest good, and it helps because. I mean, I had a client the other day who got and I've had this before to other people, no relationship for a year, for 2 years. But what's beautiful about finding that out, think of all the energy that you save instead of going down these empty paths that are only going to deliver, nothing great. Now you're working with the flow of energy that wants to work through you. So you take that energy and you put it towards something else that needs that creativity, needs that time, needs that, it's very, very cool. And sometimes it's not what we want to hear, but it's
no, it's perfect. It was exactly what I wanted to know and to hear. So it's perfect. I wasn't expecting tomorrow because there's nobody in the pipeline. I was like, no idea whatsoever. But no, that's perfect. September, that's great. Between now and September, awesome. So
that's when you're become ready. That's when you'll
exactly. Yeah. And I think I'm becoming more and more ready because I think I like 2 weeks ago, I thought, yeah, enough. I'm done. We need to move forward, clean house, get things fixed. So yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. We're going to take two more quick ones. iPad 21 and Tina C. iPad 21. Do I know who you are?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
It's Stella. Hi, Stella.
How are you?
I'm good. What's your question for Hope?
My question is it for my best and highest good to continue the relationship with Hernan?
No. I have no idea. Is it still that young guy?
Yes.
Okay, the answer is no.
Oh, the answer is no?
Shefali knows already.
I thought we already said no last time.
I
No,
thought so too.
no, I didn't think so. If
No?
you would have said no, I wouldn't have gone with him.
Okay, let's see. But I'm pretty sure it was like a young, unless this is a different young guy.
Maybe no. There's only one.
Okay, yeah.
That other
Well,
guy is still not
I
even.
think we said, we ended up saying something like, be careful.
Be careful. Yeah, I have to. He hasn't finished my kitchen. He has not finished my kitchen, so.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it up to Hope now. I said my piece.
Okay, you
Yeah.
did.
So when you say relationship, what kind of relationship are we talking about?
Well, we have a personal relationship, and also he's supposed to be doing my kitchen, and he hasn't finished. All kinds of things happen that he hasn't finished the kitchen. So he has to finish it.
So you want to know, there are
Whether
two things here. There's the personal relationship and there's the kitchen.
Right, it's personal and professional relationship. Yeah.
Okay, so is it in Stella's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to continue the personal relationship with their non? No. Is it in Stella's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to continue the professional relationship? Yes.
Okay.
But get him to hurry up and finish that kitchen and then send him packing.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
don't pay him until he's absolutely done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would.
Yeah.
No, the payment is no problem because I bought the stuff. I pay him part of the stuff. So when it comes to payment, no. But it's just
Okay, good.
okay.
But get him to hurry up and finish.
Yes, that's what I want. Thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Stella. And I'm not laughing at you, Stella, at all. It's just a interesting situation.
Yes, thank you. I love you. You know.
Yeah, I know. I love you too.
Okay.
And I just want you to be safe. That's all I want. I want you to be safe and happy and good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, Tina.
Hello. Well, I was going to ask
Hi.
about the guy Jesse that's been trying to get me to go out, but then you asked the question, Shirley, and I'm just wondering if I'm even ready for a relationship yet. I mean, my partner died almost 4 years in October, but I don't know if I'm ready. So either one.
Okay.
So I guess her question is, would it be in my highest good to have a romantic relationship with Jesse or just friendship?
Let's back up and just ask about the relationship piece first. Is it in Tina's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to enter into a romantic relationship at this time? And you got 100% yes. Now you want to know what's the name of the person?
Jesse.
Jesse. Is it in Tina's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to enter into a romantic relationship with Jesse? Yes, it is. What do you know? That's exciting.
I thought it might have been me in my head just trying to push him away because he's been trying since I was a teenager. He said, I've had a crush on you since I was 18. I'm like, yeah, but I'm just not ready.
Oh, well, now you are.
And I did my own pendulum, but when you're so connected, I'll get a maybe to hook up. And so that's why I thought, you know what, raise your darn hand and ask.
Exactly.
You know what, Tina?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. I can't tell you how many people tell me the exact same thing. Because with a pendulum, it's really connected to your hand, your arm, right? These are floating freely within these. with the handles so that I'm less connected to them and they can flow more freely. But
Yeah, I was
in
thinking I
any
need some of them.
event, when you have a really important question like that, and that is an important question, right? I myself go to somebody else to double check my own answers. So you just demonstrated what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I'm almost starting to cry because it's like the fact that I don't know. After losing my kid now, it's like I know I need to go fly and I know I need to go have some fun in my life. I haven't for 4 years.
Yeah, you are ready, girl. And this is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm so glad you asked. Now, I want to say one more thing for any dowsers out there. There is a way using your dowsing tool to measure where you are in terms of your ability to get straight information. We have to remember that we all have energy fields, and when the information is coming in, it can get distorted through our energy fields, especially our emotional fields. So the trick with all dowsing is to really get yourself out of the way, get yourself completely unattached from the answer. And that takes some work, that takes some diligence over time to learn how to do that. But as what you can do is you can ask on a scale of 0 to 100, to what degree am I getting straight information on unadulterated information? So you can say, is it 5%, 10%, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. So at this point, I'm in the 95 and up scale. I don't ever claim 100% at all. And we have to remember that life is so dynamic that you're asking at a certain point in time. So that was what was true at that time. And in general, it proves out. Sometimes you have to keep, checking a week later, month later, whatever, just to make sure you're still on track. But that when you measure yourself and your ability to receive unadulterated information, then you can know how much you should trust it. So if you dowsed, you use your pendulum, you said maybe you're only getting to 70% or 75%. Well, or maybe you're not even, we're all different, right? And we're all different in our learning curve with dowsing. But it helps you to know, I should only rely on this to that degree. And
Like with this, I'm not going in it thinking, we're anything more than just a stepping stone, even, like just have a relationship, somebody to spend some time with, go have fun with, and whatever happens, happens. But I kept on, thank goodness he's still hanging in there with me, but I just blow him off again.
Good. Well, I'm
you.
really happy for you. Have a blast. Just have a blast.
Yeah,
Just go have some fun, Tina.
Yeah, thank you.
Go have some fun. Just let loose and have fun, okay? Yeah, awesome. Thank you. What a great, I don't know, that was a great session of questions. Not all the same, they're all different, which was interesting, and different ways of getting to the answer that is for our highest good. So I love that. So thank you, Hope. Like I said, you're brilliant at it, and you're definitely tapped in. So I want to take a moment and talk about the packages really quickly, because it is that time, beyond that time. Hold on, I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. So for those of you who, I'm going to also put the thing in the chat, the link in the chat, just so that you have it. But there are three packages that Hope has for us today. So the first one is the 7 Elemental Foundations of Life Speak course. I'm going to share my screen for that as well, but just a little bit, if you want to talk about it, Hope, there's a little bit here on the page, but I'm also going to share the actual page. Where is it? Hold on, find it. That Hope shared with me. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me just move my thing out of the way. Okay, so this is the course. So it's like a 7 I'm going to let you speak about it.
Yeah, this is the what I spoke about in the beginning, the 7 transmissions. And we're calling it a course because it's not meant to be gobbled. Most of my stuff is not meant to be gobbled. It's meant to be listened to and then put into action. So these are the results of asking each of these elements to speak directly through me to the audience. And as I mentioned before, they're incredibly moving, and there are aspects to it that were surprising. And when we got into climate, biodiversity, and web of life, each of those has 3 speakers in it. Again, I mentioned that the master of ceremonies for all of these was Merlin. I've edited him out of these, I think every one of them, but he brought forth the beings that wanted to speak on all of these subjects. So this is going to really deepen anybody's connection with the earth and with the natural world. It's going to, when we get in harmony with the world, it affects our bodies in a beautiful way. It puts us in a rhythm with the planet, and it's just beautiful, expanse. So, the second vision that I had way back in 2010, after that big wall of water turned on its side, and then I saw this curling wave, giant curling wave, and the message there was, as the water moves away from the shore and deepens into the seabed to get the energy to create the crest, that's how the physics of a wave works. It goes out, down, and up. So should you, meaning me, but meaning everyone, leave your book learning on the shore. That's what you put on the shore. And then you go to the wisdom keepers of the earth, go to the wisdom of the earth for your knowledge. And then mix that with this incoming push of evolution. So that put me on, I had already begun explorations into a more shamanic viewpoint, but that just propelled me ever more deeply into that. And I'm so grateful because we've been taught, most of us, we're really good at going up the spiral and getting up into the ethers and all of that. And I was a high flyer, believe me, but we haven't incorporated, many of us, except for the indigenous, how to go down into the earth and how to use the spirituality of the earth, of Gaia, as part of our spiritual evolution. So it's, when I look at the infinity wave, here's a drawing. I don't know if you can see. It's as above, so below. The bottom part of the infinity wave is the earth, and the above are the heavens, so to speak. And we're in the center there. Equal parts, equally spiritual, as above, so below. Now we see, when we're in the center like that, then we're the only ones that can take action. We can hear from above, we can hear from below, we get our nudges, but we're the only ones that can enact something, some message from either realm. So in a sense, this is our incredible blueprint to be of these 2 realms, to be the action makers, takers of both realms. And so we need to develop this relationship with the below, the earth. So I hope that explains it.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. Thank you. So that is package A. And so it's going to be really powerful as you receive the transmissions and as you allow yourself to commune and communicate with the elements. And then package B is the 30-minute personal dowsing session with Hope. Like we just experienced a little bit with Hope today, so you know what that was like. And then package C is a combination of both package A and package B. So and so package A, Hope, really quickly, it is they're all recordings, but they're meant to be done like step by step or week by week. How does that work?
You know, I leave it up to everybody's intuition, but I would just see how you feel. Listen to Earth first and just see, incorporate that as you walk around, as you know, whatever, until you feel like it's really in your bones, then go on to the next one until that's in your bones,
Awesome.
etc., and move forward that way. You know, it could take
Awesome.
a month, it could take, you know, it's up to each person, but it's called a course for that reason, because it's meant to be digested, incorporated, and then you add on the next piece.
Awesome, thank you. And so, of course, there are payment plans available, and if you're an inner circle member, please use your gift code. So awesome, thank you so much, Hope. And I know that package A is not really available to the public yet, so it's being launched here.
Oh, this is the first time. Yeah, in this form, it is the first time. So I'm really excited
awesome.
that it's on your show, Shefali.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be really transformational for people to not just connect with the earth, Gaia, Sophia, and all the elements, but also with themselves, and opening up themselves to a more expansive way of being as well, right? So it'll give you more awarenesses, it'll give you more access to who you are, as well as, you know, the universe as well, right? So I love that. Michelle, you had a question about where is the code? Where do I find the code? I'll put it here. I will have to find it. It's for those of you in the inner circle, you know what it is. I think it's I always forget. I think it's this. I think it's that. Okay. So please, you know, go ahead and use that code if you'd like. I will double check in the meantime. So any last words of wisdom for us, Hope, before we go today?
Just stay wavy. And if you stay wavy, you know what it is? Being in flow is being wavy, right? Being in flow
Yes.
is being in love and compassion. Being in love and compassion is being in flow. They're all the same things. So the more we are able to flow through the times that we're in, the more happy we will be. And since this is about awakening to happiness, I'm really happy to contribute that piece.
Awesome. Thank you. And yes, Michelle, that is the code. I double checked. I never remember either. Lorna's asking, do you send us info for signing up to one of these offers? Do you send us info for signing up to one of these offers? What does that mean exactly?
I think all you'd have to do is register for the series, and it's on the sales page, right?
Yep. But if you go to the special offer page, for example, and you pay, then you'll get access to the package. So there's a link, there's a fulfillment link in the invoice that you will get. Where is that? So I just put the link to the special offer page in the chat, but it'll be in the email as well, and it'll be on YouTube as well. It'll be everywhere. You won't be able to miss it. But I did put the link to the special offer page for Hope in the chat. Basically, awakentohappinessnow.com/season 38 or S38 Hope. I think that's what you're looking for, right? I think that's what you're looking for.
Just so people know, I was in season 1. That's how far back we go.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. 2014, 13. Oh my God. Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question, Lorna. And yes, yeah, that's when you got the package, Tina, back in 2014, 13. When I don't like, how do I not? 13, 13, 13. It was 13. Yeah, season 1. Wow. Yep. So, you know, we've known each other for a long time.
Oh, well, it's really been fun to be with you again and with your great folks here. And thanks everybody for coming on. And stay wavy.
Stay wavy. I love that. Yes, we have all grown together for sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you have any other questions or can't find the link or whatever, just feel free to email me. There's many emails, but I'll put this one here in the chat for just in case. Feel free to email me if you have any questions, or if you can't find the special offer page or whatever, just let me know. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. All right. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. I'll be sending out the recordings in a little while, so stay tuned for that. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye for now. Bye. Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you for being here. Love you too.
Bye.
Bye, Hope. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Hope.
Thanks, Shefali.
Bye, everyone.